Hello and welcome to our first ever The Sound Lab podcast here on Spotify. Yes, we at The Sound Lab have been around for quite a few years, but we've never got round to doing a podcast. What we've decided to do is take the interviews that are normally on our radio show and move them onto a podcast. So you're going to hear all of our interviews, extended versions, on this podcast. So, shall we move on and play our first interview from our Christmas special? It comes from Reverend and the Makers. They've been releasing new music. They've got a Christmas single out. So let's go to Reverend and the Makers. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm currently in transit. I'm about to head back to my car so I can talk to you at greater length. But yeah, busy, mate. How's things with you?
Not too bad, yeah. Busy as well, but we're having a little chat because you've got a new single out called Late Night Phone Call. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the track?
So it's a bit of a weird one, really. I mean, it's a Christmas track, but a Christmas track in the same way that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, you know. Doesn't mention Christmas in the track and hasn't got a chorus as such. It sort of never repeats. So it's a bit of a weird one, but when we were doing it, just felt really Christmassy. We've been listening to kind of Elvis, Vegas period Elvis, and the whole thing just felt sort of vaguely festive. So here we are.
Yeah, nice. And when you came to write it, obviously it's not the conventional verse, chorus, as you mentioned. What was the reason when you were writing it for it to just pan out the way it has?
I guess because we'd sort of sketched the music out first, and the music just seemed to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger as we kind of moved through the instrumentation. I don't know why normally, because it's not how me and Danny, my mate, Danny LaFromo, I do my music with. It's not how we normally write songs, but for whatever reason, we just sort of never went back to the chorus, and it just kept kind of meandering, but I have to tell you, it's my favourite song I've ever done. In 20 odd years of being a musician, I just love it, and it's also the most flamboyant thing I've ever done. When we started, I would be like against backing vocals and against guitar solos and all this, and this thing's got like the whole works on, you know, kitchen sink.
Yeah, most definitely. And you've teamed up to raise money for Samaritans for this track. What made you decide on Samaritans? And I know you've had a chat with them as well. So what was it like telling them that you're going to release this track for them?
Yeah, so long story short, the Samaritans speak. Like I've Zoomed people on Christmas Day now for coming up to a decade, and I'm a musician, right? And I'm thinking, what's my transferable skill? And the only thing I can really do is try and sort of put a smile on people's face using my music. And I thought, let me go one step further with that and try and raise a bit of awareness for the Samaritans who, you know, they're there for people 365 days a year. Christmas can be a period that really kind of conjures up feelings of melancholy and sadness for a lot of folk. I personally have lost my uncle, my auntie, my cousin, my dad's best friend, a bunch of friends of my own to suicide. And a lot of this stuff kind of spikes around the Christmas period, right? Because although it's a great time for a lot of us, it's also pretty rubbish for some people. So it's just really about sort of raising awareness for them. You can ring 116 123 and they'll be there for you 24/7, and they're saving lives, you know. And I think that's about as important as it gets to me.
Yeah, it's a strong message, especially at this time of year as well. But yeah, what are your plans for Christmas?
So I'm going to be at my mum's house. It's my first year without my dad. We lost my dad this year in very sort of sudden circumstances, and kind of first year without him. So it's going to be tinged with sadness and melancholy for us, but it's going to be great as well. You know, I've got 2 little kids. My cousin Louise is coming up. She's without her parents and she's got no brothers and sisters, so she's going to be with us. my brother's coming up. He's had a little baby girl, so him and his partner and baby girl coming up, and we shall go to local pub and have a pint and have a Christmas dinner and all just be together, mate. It's a time for family, innit? And then later on in the day, I shall be Zooming a few fans who maybe have had a tough time and just trying to play them a song and put a smile on a few faces. And I think like we've moved a little bit away from the real spirit of Christmas, haven't we? It can often be kind of materialistic, where you're buying like your Uncle Tom Cobley, who you see once in a blue moon, like a Ralph Lauren polo shirt or something, even though you never see him. And it just all gets a bit silly, I think. And I think the point gets lost. And the point really for me is I'm a bit paganistic in that way. It's like the winter solstice, isn't it? It's like a kind of, it's very dark, it's very miserable. It's a time to sort of have a bit of joy, have a bit of fun, have a drink and be together and think about your fellow humans and trying to have a bit of kind of connection with people, really.
Yeah, most definitely. Totally agree with you there. It's been about a year and a half since you last released your records. Is this now the start of more new music to come?
Yeah, so because my dad was dying, I sort of cocked the album up. I was supposed to be doing it in Brussels, and we ended up trying to hastily re-record in Sheffield. And apart from this Christmas single, I kind of cocked most of it up. So I'm going to be resuming those recording sessions in January. Now, what I know for certain is that in the last 4 or 5 years, the band, the kind of vibes and the musical output of the band has dramatically improved. Obviously, we've had like 5 singles in a row now go on Radio 2 playlist. And that's been reflected in the numbers. And obviously the album went in the top 10 and all that stuff. And as a bunch of demos, it's the best bunch of demos I've ever had. Like, it's super good. So that's partly why I didn't just want to put it out, as it were. I want to get it right, because I think it's a bit of a masterpiece, if I'm honest with you.
Good, nice. Because that's the kind of thing you need to do, isn't it? You have to try and top your last one, otherwise you'll be going backwards instead of forwards.
Yeah, I've never, my manager was saying this, said you've been through a lot of eras. He calls it eras, like I'm Taylor Swift or something. Obviously, there's that State of Things thing, which is a kind of mixture between synthesized Human League type music and maybe more indie Arctic Monkeys style. There's a kind of very Sheffield thing there. Second album's sort of politicized psychedelic music. Third album, fourth album's like slamming dance music. I've kind of gone super weird on fifth and sixth album and gone into a kind of 60s place, and then landed upon last album on this kind of more soulful direction. And I wanted to expand on that a bit with these new bunch of songs, because I've found a bit of a style that I think suits me as an older fella, and I'm kind of a bit done with psychedelia. I'm done with Sheffield kitchen sink dramas. I'm done with being super lefty political guy. I've kind of hit upon this like soulful thing that is very much where I'm at in my life. That's the kind of music I enjoy and the music I feel comfortable making, and it seems to really resonate with people. People seem to love it, so I'm excited about what the future's got to hold, really, for the band.
Yeah, I'm sure. You mentioned politics as well, but we won't get into that because that'll keep us here for another hour or two, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a bit of a post-political phase at the minute. Like, I got so deeply into the Corbyn movement, and he's a friend of mine, Jeremy, and I love him and whatever. And I felt so disappointed by the way that transpired and the way that he was treated and the way that movement sort of fizzled out, and we kind of returned to this dull centrist thing. And I'm a bit like, you know what? Like, here's what the world doesn't need any more of: my opinions. Do you know what I mean? Like, not political opinions. Like, and I'm also getting a bit older, and I'm thinking, do I really want to be falling out with people just because they've got different politics to me? No, I don't. You know what I mean? I'm only on. My dad Dane's taught me this a bit. Like, I'm only on this earth once. I don't want to be rowing with people all the time. You know what I mean? I'm kind of into making best music I can for a minute, because I think sometimes musicians can, when they do delve into politics, can forget the fact that they're ultimately an entertainer, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Moving away from the politics, brief moment there. What's your plans for next year? Because we want to see you on the road and doing some touring and stuff.
Yeah, lots of plans. So obviously I've got this Day Fever thing that I've been doing with the actress Vicky McClure and her husband Johnny Owen, my brother Chris, and that's become a bit of a nationwide sensation. So that's like daytime discos. We're all over the country with that, which is great. And then Reverend and the Makers wise, I'm in Australia, I'm in Mexico. I've got a bunch of festivals. The centerpiece of that is the big 20 years anniversary show in Sheffield in the Don Valley Park there, the Rock and Roll Circus. And I mean, the bill for 55 quid, the bill's insane, right? It's like us headlining, Groove Armada are going to be on, Pete and Cole from the Libertines, lottery winners. Day Fever's got a tent there. My brother's got a comedy called Steve Bracknell, which gets like 30 million views on TikTok and stuff. So he's doing a stand-up thing. There's a band called the Everly Pregnant Brothers in Sheffield who are comprised of members of Pulp and Pete McKee, the local artist. They're doing a thing. So it's going to be a real celebratory moment, I think, for the band and for hopefully for the city. And then the album is going to be called Is This How Happiness Feels, which is kind of, there's some beautiful moments on that. I'm looking to just take it to bigger and better places, really.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Reverend and the Makers. Now, we are all over social media, so come and find us at The Sound Lab. Yes, that's on all the socials, and you can also check out the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. Now, the second interview on this very, very podcast, and it's our Christmas special, if I haven't mentioned already. It is from Tom A. Smith. He does have a Christmas single out as well, so let's have a little chat to Tom A. Smith. How are you?
I'm perfect, mate. How are you?
Good, yeah, not too bad. So it's Christmas, coming up to that very shortly. You've decided to release a Christmas song called This Christmas Time. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this song for 3 or 4 years now, or probably 4 or 5 actually. And every sort of December time, I always put it in the set, sneak it in somehow. And I always just played it on my own for a while. And yeah, I've always sort of just liked the idea of putting a Christmas song out. And we got to like beginning of November this year, well, end of October, and I was like, I need to put a song out before the end of the year, just to, to maintain it so people don't forget about it. Um, and yeah, I just thought, why not use this time to put out a Christmas song? And the thing is, with streaming and all that, and releasing songs. As soon as it hits December, everyone's listening to Christmas songs, and all the rest sort of goes down the pecking order a little bit. So why not take advantage of that and put out a Christmas song? It's very rare that people do it nowadays, or original ones anyway. And I really like the tune. I've had it for a few years. I mean, I'd written a couple of Christmas songs before then, but they were very, very twee and very cringe. We'll see. Which is some of the best Christmas songs are, by the way. But I think it didn't quite suit my sound and style, I suppose. But no, I put this one out, and I'm really pleased with the reaction so far. And now that it's hit December, it's feeling great, and people are actually listening to it now. So nice.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you've sat on it for a few years. Why this year as opposed to last year or next year, for instance?
I think I've just always had like a busy release schedule going on, and plans for what I'm doing, and whereas this one was just sort of like, oh, should probably put a song out before the year ends, and a Christmas song just seemed like the right move and the right way to do it. And yeah, I've always wanted to have this song out. There's always going to be a point where this song came out, and yeah, produced it all myself at home, so it was literally like a decision, and then spent a bit of time working on it, and then and then it was good to go. So no, but really pleased so far with the response.
Good, good. You've been on tour. How's that been going?
Amazing, yeah. It's been like a month now that we've been away, which is quite odd. It's and for the first time in a while, it's what we've been doing, and yeah, it's the first tour we've had properly since May. So it's nice to be on the road again. But no, it's been with the Claws, and we've known them for years, and they're a top bunch of lads, and we always have gotten along with them really well. And yeah, it's been great fun. It's been nice because it's been like sort of like weekends, and it's been like Thursday to Saturdays or like Wednesday to Saturdays. So like we're getting all the good weekend crowds and everything like that. Everyone's probably up for it all the time, and then we get a nice couple of days rest and we're back at it. But no, it's been so much fun. The venues have been mint. They've pretty much sold out every single day on the tour. So every single night and every crowd's been brilliant. And yeah, we just come back from a Leeds show on Saturday, which was probably my favorite of the tour.
Mhm.
And but yeah, it's all been pretty good so far.
Good. And what's 2025 going to hold for you? What's your plans at the moment?
It's quite an exciting. Yeah, I've got obviously plenty of music to release. I'm always writing, always creating, so I've got some plans for that. Certainly the beginning of the year, and the same with shows. I've got some plans for some shows. But yeah, it's going to be a great year. We're gonna hit the summer, and well, end of April, I'll start filming. Um, well, probably not during the summer, and next year I'm going to be filming a movie, which I'm really looking forward to filming. It's a movie loosely based on Dave Stewart's teenage years, and I'm playing a role in that, which is I've never done a minute of acting in my entire life, but I'm really looking forward to it. And something new, and it's a new challenge, and something else to look forward to for next
Hmm.
year.
How did this come about?
It's quite an odd story actually. So I was just sort of, you know, minding my own business. I went to a family barbecue and I got a message on Instagram off Dave Stewart saying, "Hey, is it okay if I have your phone number? I want to have a quick chat." I was like, "All right, yeah, I've interacted with him a couple of times in my life, with him being from Sunderland and all that as well. So he's always paid some level of interest to what's going on in my career." And yeah, I sent him a number and he rang us at the family barbecue saying, "Hey, I've been writing the script for years, and it's a film loosely based on my teenage years, and I just wondered if it was something you'd be up for. Have you ever thought about acting before?" And obviously, I just go, "Yeah," because you don't turn those opportunities down, absolutely not.
Hmm.
And got to do a couple of auditions, met the director and producer and things like that. And yeah, it's all feels really good, and it's as I say, it's something totally new, totally different for me. But
Yeah.
I'm confident and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, it's something else, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned music coming soon. How's it sounding at the moment?
Really good, really great. I've spent, I've been on and off with shows this year, and I've spent a fat portion of the year writing again. And yeah, there's some of my best stuff I think has come out this year, in terms of just demo form and all
Hmm.
that. But I'm really looking forward to people might have heard a couple of them live if they've been seen us over the last few weeks. There's one that's been going down really well, which I'm thinking about maybe getting that involved somewhere. But yeah, it's going to be a good year for releases, and I'm really excited. I'm really confident about it, and no, bring it on, I suppose.
Nice, nice. And talking about the writing side of things as well, how do tracks normally start off?
It seems to sort of jump about. Sometimes it'll just be I'll sat with an acoustic guitar and it'll come out on the spur of the moment in 5, 10 minutes. Sometimes I've got to really think of it a little bit more. It depends how, what's inspiring me at that time, I suppose. Recently I've been sort of, you know, messing about with starting writing songs with synth lines and bass lines, and that basically giving me and working on a structure from that, and then like writing the lyrics right at the end once the structure's done, and that's been working as well. But yeah, it tends to change and mix about. Sometimes I can do one thing and then run out of ideas, and then got to try something else, and working it that way. But because I'm doing it all the time, there's never a day where I'm writing something the exact same as the day before because I just know what I did the day before, so I don't do it again.
Hmm.
And so yeah, we get a nice mix of styles and different types of performances, which I think definitely aids the live show. We'll see.
Hmm. Yeah, and what about the lyrics as well? How easy do you find it to create the lyrics to the music?
It really depends. Sometimes I've got a very clear idea of what I want the song to be about, and yeah, I can know from the start. Sometimes for a while I used to have like batches and batches of lyrics that I used to write over periods of time. And, every time I wrote a song, I'll just be able to pick out a bunch of lyrics from this list I had and work around it. But at the moment, it's sort of been like, what's grabbing me at that particular moment. And sometimes a lyric will just pop into my head, and then
Hmm.
that's pretty much the premise of the song. Sometimes, I'll think of like a famous quote or something like that and base it around that, which I always think works quite well. But yeah, it's always varying and always changing. But no, it's it's a tough process, but I'm getting to a point where I'm quite comfortable in knowing what I'm doing and how my setup's working.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you still have that notebook around with all your lyrics in?
Yeah, I mean, I've got just like a section of me notes on my phone, which are just like absolutely rammed with, hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Most of them being used now, in all fairness. But it's always writing and always creating anyway. That is
Do you
always
have it
one.
to hand? Can you find one?
Sure. Ooh, trying to find something that isn't
Not been used yet.
it's not being released. Yeah. Um, there's definitely some.
There must be
Taking
one that stands out that you really want to use at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, there's I don't want you to have to remember me. All the lyrics for that one in me phone notes that you know, that was my second to recent most recent single. But no, it's there's dozens and dozens in there that haven't been used yet. But I'll keep them to myself.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Tom A. Smith. Now, we also here on Spotify, we also have a playlist which brings you some of the best unsigned up-and-coming artists that we've had the chance to take a listen to. We love the track so much, we've added it to the playlist. So go and find our fresh playlist right here on Spotify. And you can also find it on our website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. So go and check that out after the show has ended. Yeah, go and do that. Now we're going to move on and play our third interview from this week's Christmas special. It comes from Owen Rivera, who has a Christmas single out now, and he's got more new music on the way. So Owen Rivera, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Jim?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks so much. So the big news is we are going to be playing a Christmas single of yours called I Fall in Love with Christmas. Tell us a bit about the single.
So yeah, I Fall in Love with Christmas is it's a song that is written about how how everybody falls in love with the spirit of Christmas, you know. And Christmas to me has been a very special holiday for many years, you know. This song I mean, man, I got very little words to say for this, man. I mean, this song means a lot to me, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it really, for me, brings out my feeling of the spirit of Christmas, and I hope it can bring out yours as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the reasoning behind writing a Christmas song?
So, I've always had an interest in writing a Christmas song. I mean, for many musicians, I mean, a lot of them grew up listening to classic Christmas songs, you know, like White Christmas, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, Jingle Bell Rock. I mean, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree and Jingle Bell Rock being very prominent when I was a kid. So I really like that, you know, kind of rocky kind of feel. And I love the ballads as well. And this song was written by my producer, Michael Lloyd, and Mike Curb, who actually presented me the song along with Don Cusick, which was a very amazing day in the studio, to say the least. When my producer said, "Hey, you know, you got this Christmas song in, and Curb wants you to put your thing on it, and he really thinks, you know, that you can bring it to life." And I was like, "Wow!" Like, that was an incredible thing in the studio. But for writing, for the Christmas song in general, like it needs to, for me to do a Christmas song, it needs to mean something, right? It doesn't need because Christmas is very special. Like, it's a very special time of year. You don't just want to do something that's just, eh. So to me, this song is my little thing into Christmas.
Nice, nice. And it's not the first time you've released a Christmas track, because you put your rendition on Feliz Navidad last year, which we played. What was it
Yes.
like putting your own rendition on what is a classic?
For Feliz Navidad, oh my goodness. That was incredible. I mean, that I was even able to do it was just wow. I mean, that song has been in my life for as long as I can remember. First Christmases. That's the first song that came on in the morning, was Feliz Navidad. And I mean, Jose Feliciano has been a huge inspiration to me, also being a Puerto Rican artist as well. I mean, wow, what an incredible experience, and I'm very thankful that I was able to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure indeed. Is this now the start of more new music to come from you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. In 2025, we're looking to release a bunch of new music. I'm very excited about it, and, I've been working a lot in the studio these last couple of years, putting all this together. We have a ton of songs ready for all of you guys to listen to in the coming year.
Nice. How's it sounding?
At least to me, it's sounding pretty good. Yeah.
Good. I like to talk about the writing as well. So for you, how do
Yeah.
tracks normally start off?
It starts off with either a lyric. I'll find a lyric somewhere in one of my old journals. I like to write stuff down a lot, just kind of write random thoughts, like whatever I'm thinking in the moment. Like after this, I'll probably write about something. This interview will probably turn into a song. But yeah, it'll start off with
Make
a
sure you
lyric.
credit me.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it'll start off with a lyric or an idea on a guitar or piano, or maybe even a drum track. So it's kind of spontaneous in that way. But we'll get the track in. We'll get a basic track down, a basic idea of what we want to do with said song. So, for instance, one of the tracks that's coming out is a Latin rock song, right? I'm not gonna give too much information on it. Can't really. I'll get in trouble. But so it's a Latin rock song. Okay, so what do I want to put on this? Okay, so it's about this. Okay, so I put guitar on it. It needs to be rhythmic, real rhythmic. It needs to make people move. Okay, the drums, they need to make people move. The bass needs to walk, it needs to groove. Okay, we want trumpets here. Oh, we should have background singers here doing this. So it just kind of ideas building up to the ultimatum, what the song ultimately becomes. So some songs we have, they're Latin songs. Some of them are ballads, maybe just simple guitar leading up to some things. Some of them are big productions. Other ones are just like a blues or Clapton kind of production. So it kind of varies in which song we are and what day we're doing the song, of course. But it always varies, and it's always an incredible experience to write. It's really something.
And is it the plan to have varying sounds and styles in your music, or are you trying to kind of find your sound still and the direction you want to go in?
Oh no, it's always about incorporating different sounds and stuff into my music. Everything that I'm about to release has something that has influenced me, something that I've loved and that I've listened to and that I've played. I love playing Latin rock. I've grown up loving Santana and loving Clapton and Cream and the Blues Breakers, loving Graham Nash, and CSN. So all of those have had an influence on the type of music that I like to write and that I like to put out. And I like to incorporate different elements and effects from those records that I love to listen to. I mean, just look at the wall behind me. There's a ton. It goes on for a little bit, but it's always about, for me, putting my heart and my soul and what it means to me for this song, for it to come to life.
Nice. Nice. And people will want to see you doing some live stuff. What's your plan for doing some shows?
Hopefully, I'll be on tour in England very soon. But looking forward to some live stuff happening again in the coming year. Of course, it's Christmas time. We're all on vacation, enjoying a little Michael action. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to some live stuff happening in the coming year. Hopefully, in the U.S. and in Latin America and in Europe as well. Hopefully, Asia too. Everywhere. I like to tour.
Yeah,
I just want to get into the world with music. Is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. Is there anywhere you've not been to yet that is kind of top of your touring bucket list?
Oh wow. I'd have to say, I mean, everywhere I haven't performed, but yeah, I'd love to play in. I'd love to play in England. I've always loved to play. One of my jokes that I have with my dad sometimes is, so Owen, where you want to perform? In Wembley Stadium someday. I'm going to perform in Wembley Stadium. Nice. Is a dream location. Hopefully, that's kind of shooting it up. Maybe I'll start at the Beat Club there. Where the Beatles were at, just to get my little startup. But
build up for sure. Mm-hmm. And even though you're still 17, I believe you've been doing music for a very long time. I've just read that you were recognized at the age of 4 in music. So I want to find out how you got into doing music in the first place.
So it all started with a little $20 Toys R Us drum kit playing the Beastie Boys, rhyming and stealing. I didn't know what the song. I just wanted to. Drums was the first thing that got me into this. It took a while to find a music school, that would take me in. Eventually, some lovely folks down at Music where I used to live took me in and started me there. I started taking classes there. I performed at a library, and then I got to at the library some of the people from Musicians and Making Music, who I have to thank a lot for how far my career has come. They picked me up, put me into some of their music programs there for rhythm and songwriting and all that stuff. Ed Rossetti, I have to thank a lot for influencing me on my journey. From there, I got to go to and take some courses at Musicians Institute and study with a couple of incredible musicians. And then I kind of freelanced for a while, studying abroad with many incredible musicians. And from there, I got to meet Michael Lloyd, who was my producer. I'm basing. You can read the whole story on, the 50s. I'm making a very short version of it, mm-hmm. But I got to meet Michael Lloyd at a taxi event, and he says, "Oh, we talked for a bit, and he gives me his email. He says, email me, we'll find a time." And then he emails me Saturday morning, 10 a.m. address, be there. And that's how I kind of am where I am right now. So
nice.
Yeah, with Curb Records and stuff, it's been an incredible journey.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned some of the instruments you play, guitar and obviously drums as well, and obviously singing and loads of stuff. Is there any instruments that you don't play that you kind of want to learn to play at some point?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love to learn mandolin. I love to learn the mandolin. I think it's called the bouzouki. I think it's like a Greek instrument.
Rings a bell.
I saw Phil X playing it in an interview. I think it was with Rick Beato once. Saw him playing it all over a bouzouki. And I was like, that looks cool. I want to do that. So yeah, mandolin, bouzouki, and come on, one more. And if I could, trumpet, because of Miles Davis.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Owen Rivera. Now, I'm sure you probably want to hear some of the music from these artists and loads more. Well, actually, what we do is we also have a radio show where we play these interviews out. We have a live session. We have music as well. This is our Christmas special, so it's Christmas music. A live session as well from Tom Ball. So go and find that. It's on our website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. These interviews, loads of music. Go and check it out. We've been going for like 9 years now, so it's pretty bonkers. So go and check that out. But do it after you've listened to this next interview. It comes from Mediæval Bæbes. They're slightly different. They're a little bit old school, like really old school when it comes to music. So let's go to Mediæval Bæbes, shall we? How are you?
Hi there. I'm great. We had I'm just in the middle of a tour. It's my day off, so it's great to have a chance to talk to you. We played Chelmsford Cathedral last night for the first time, which is amazing. Really beautiful acoustics. Lovely evening. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. As mentioned, you have been on tour. I think you've done about a week now. How's it been going?
Well, yeah, we've done 7 days in a row, which is quite full on. But there's only so many days that are legitimately Christmas days, so we have to, stack them in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're doing these dates because you decided to release a Christmas album. For those who've not had a chance to take a listen to it yet, tell us a bit about it.
Well, Midwinter was actually released 2 years ago, but the beauty of a Christmas album is you can roll it out every year. I'm currently writing the next album, which isn't going to be a Christmas album, but there will be some elements of festivity on it for sure. But yes, Midwinter is our Christmas album, which is it's some incredibly famous seasonal material on it, like Deck the Halls and Little Town of Bethlehem, and there's some lesser known Christmas material such as the Gower's Sale, the Wexford Carol, and some of the tracks I wrote using Middle English text and Latin text, but I wrote the music to those, which are also extremely seasonal.
Yeah, nice. Tell us a bit about the writing process for you then, because it is a little bit different from the conventional musicians that we play. So tell us about that.
Well, if I'm going to write a song, traditionally with the Mediæval Babes, I'll find an ancient text, usually in like Latin or Middle English, that I have set languages that are very varied, such as ancient Arabic, ancient Welsh, Irish, Arabic, Spanish, but the languages I'm most used to working in are Latin and Middle English. So I'll find a poem that leaps out at me, and then I'll just press record and start singing and see what happens. Nice.
How easy does it to get into the rhythm of the music for you to kind of write those tunes to?
Well, if it's the right poem, then it flows. I mean, I'm looking for various things when I find some text. Obviously, a rhythm is good if you're going to do something musical, but it's setting ancient texts is a very magical thing to do, because a lot of it's by anonymous poets, and a lot of their preoccupations are the same as ours. Like there's lots of timeless themes such as love and death and God and nature. So they weren't that different from us, and it's good to harness those timeless themes and breathe life into ancient text.
Yeah, nice. And when you decide to put an album together, obviously there's some originals that you've created, but there are renditions of well-known tracks, like on this Christmas album, that you like to put your own side
reimaginings in the inimitable Mediæval Babes style.
That's me trying to not use the word cover.
Reimaginings. I go with that usually.
Yeah. How do you decide what tracks that are well known to all of us that you want to put your spin on?
Well, actually, for the Midwinter album, I put it to the fans. I did a Facebook post a few years ago and said, which Christmas songs that we haven't already done would you like us to do? And that was actually the starting point of the album. And I had so many brilliant suggestions. There were Christmas tracks I hadn't even heard before that quite a few people were recommending. It's like, well, I've got to check that out. Tracks such as Personet, Hodie and Riu Cheer. I was sort of vaguely aware of them, but hadn't really honed in on them. So I've got the fans to thank for that. As with Gower's Sale and the Wexford Carols, I just went down this list. I got hundreds of people suggesting stuff. So that was a really nice way to do it. Just what do people want me to do? And started it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any that you tried that you simply just, it didn't work for you and wasn't going to work for Mediæval Babes?
Okay, well, there's a Christmas carol called "What Child Is This," which is to the music of Greensleeves, and the words I can't remember who wrote the words, but I thought it'd be really nice to do that one. But the words weren't quite right for Mediæval Babes, so I decided to use the tune from Greensleeves, but find my own text to go with it. So I found 3 different Middle English poems. I think they were 14th/15th century Middle English poems, and sort of did a mash-up of all those words and set them to the music of Greensleeves.
Nice. You mentioned that you're working on new music now. Where are you at with it, and how's it sounding?
Well, I've written maybe about 6 or 7 tracks from it, and we're actually doing 4 of them on tour at the moment. So they are transforming not every night, because they're obviously very new material. It's very new material, but every night we're like, okay, should we do this with it? Should we drop out the drums there? So it's wonderful to have some new material that is evolving during the course of this tour.
Yeah, nice. And you've got a few dates left, taking you up till Christmas, but I'm sure you're busy.
Yeah, we've got 10. Well, we've done 7 dates. We've got 10 days left. Tomorrow we're playing in Truro Cathedral, which is really one of the highlights of the tour. I know I say every gig is, and they all are in their own way, but I mean, Truro is really amazing, the only cathedral in Cornwall, and so we've got an early start tomorrow.
Yeah, I can well imagine. Busy days touring around. It can be. 2025, how busy is that going to be for you?
Well, as is now tradition, we will tour the UK again, and I will be busy making the album, so I hope to have that done and dusted and out for next year's tour. But it really has become a wonderful sort of annual pageant, I suppose you could call it, because not only do we sing and obviously put on a show, but we actually start the evening with a torchlit procession, because I like the idea of the audience being able to have an immersive experience. They can come and join us out on the street. We've got this ludicrous ceremony that we start the show with now, where I go, for instance, last night I'm in Chelmsford and I'm like, "Hearken, O noble people of Chelmsford, for the hour hath come to ignite the ancient flame of old," bit of tautology there, "and let the ceremony of light and joy begin." And then I go, "Approach, Grail Bearer," and Maya McCourt, who's the cello player, appears with this enormous sort of goblet thing. So I like that. That's the chalice. And then I start playing this extremely loud instrument called the Rauschpfeife. I'm not going to play that for you now. It's too early in the day. And then we get on the move and we process to the church with flaming torches and drums and all sorts. So that really sets the mood for the evening. People love that. We've been doing that for a few years now, and I think it really does set us apart from other bands. I mean, who arrives at a venue with flaming torches? Well, the answer to that is the Mediæval Bæbes do.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you hoping to go overseas and play?
Well, we did go to the Isle of Wight a few days ago, amid storm Dara, and it was like, oh my goddess, is the gig on? Are they going to be able to make it? The storm. So that added a little bit of extra drama. We couldn't actually do the outdoor procession on the Isle of Wight because the conditions were just too dangerous, even for us. We had to. So we processed inside the church with some electronic torches. But that's the only show that we haven't done the full fire experience for. We've been trudging in the rain. We're very stalwart, you see.
And with these big ideas to make the experience more immersive, have you got big plans for the future that you want to kind of include?
Well, I mean, this is the thing about me, is I keep having these ludicrous ideas, and then once that's been done and that starts feeling normal, I'm like, oh my God, what can we do next to take it to the next level? And which is kind of fun, and which is where the ceremony came in. It's like, okay, we can't just, processing with flaming torches isn't enough anymore. There's going to have to be a procession. So, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to come up with next year, but there always has to be a next level, You only live once.
Top yourself. You got to make it better. And you've been doing this for many years now. I think you started this back in the 90s. How have you evolved? How has the band evolved over the years?
Well, there's been lots of different members have come and gone, which has been fantastic because I've got to become friends and work with so many women with so many diverse skill sets. So that's one way it has evolved. It's obviously different personnel, different singers, different musicians. But the current lineup we've had for the last 4 years, which is great. But things will evolve. Obviously, I'm writing a new album, and obviously there's some central themes of Mediæval Bæbes that never changes. It's a choral group. We enjoy a ludicrous sort of spectacle. But yeah, things are always changing. I mean, it's impossible for anything to stay the same. Thank God, or we get bored, right?
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Mediæval Bæbes. And normally we play you just 4 interviews, but what we've decided to do is send you back in time. Like I said, we've been doing this show for over 9 years. I've been working in music and radio for, it must be about 12 or 13 years now. So we've got a little bit of a backlog of interviews. We've played them in the past, but we want to kind of reignite them and bring them back. So at the end of the podcast every week, we're going to bring you an old interview we've done and bring it to today. So this time last year, we had the pleasure of chatting to East 17. Yeah, had to be the biggest name for this show, I think, from last year. So let's have a chat with East 17 from 2023. How are you?
Well, I'm very good, mate. I'm very, very good. Busy this time of year.
Yes, absolutely. And even more busy this year because you've released another Christmas single, Merry Quitmas. Tell us a bit about that track, first of all.
Merry Quitmas is a collaboration with Riot Labs, who got in touch with us and asked us if we want to be on this track. we didn't actually write the lyrics, but we've been a big part of it. And yeah, it's going really well. We're trying to raise awareness for people to give up smoking cigarettes because it's no good. I'm on this journey as well myself. And yeah, all the proceeds of the singles will go to UK cancer charities. So yeah, so it's for a great cause. And yeah, we've never done a Christmas charity single. So yeah, it's great to be a part of it.
And you're one of those names that everyone mentions at this time because almost 30 years ago you released Stay Another Day for Christmas. Tell us about that track 30 years ago, and did you realise at the time how big it was going to be and continuing to be played today?
Yeah, wow, 30 years ago. Wow, I feel old. Yeah, a long time ago. Wow, I never thought any song would kind of go across 3 decades. Having a Christmas #1 is what everyone wants, really, because that's kind of the track that gets played every single year. It's the legacy that kind of E17 leaves behind, really. You know, hopefully my great-great-grandkids will go, yeah, that was my great-granddad, you know, up there in that track. So yeah, an amazing track. The lyrics, obviously, it was wrote about Tony's brother originally, which, you know, it's got a deep, meaningful story behind it. And obviously the iconic white coat video that everyone remembers, and loads of people every year. You know, you've had comedians, you've had Johnny from Ross, James Corden, and all the comedians done their own version last year. You had sports people do it, famous sports people, and yeah, I never would have thought that we would have had a single that would have kind of outlasted this long, really, and carry on going. Some people say it's the biggest Christmas song ever. And it's probably the only Christmas song out there which doesn't mention the word Christmas.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it, with that?
Yeah, I think Ed Sheeran mentioned it one year, a couple of years ago. He said, I'd love to write a song like Stay Another Day where it doesn't mention Christmas in it once, and yet it's such a big song. So, yeah, that's the legacy that gets left behind. And, yeah, when we was recording it and we give it to the producers at the time, which was Kernan Harding, big 90s sort of producers. They'd done Kylie and all the 90s acts. Yeah, they stuck in some Christmas bells and made it Christmassy, made a sad song a Christmas song. So, yeah. Love it. I'm going through Tesco's every year, getting me shopping, and it's blasting out. Wherever you go, mate. I was in a cab earlier and it was on the radio. So wherever you go, it gets played, and it's kept the name alive all these years, to be honest with you. You know, you have hits throughout the years in your career, and they kind of get forgotten unless you're out there gigging all the time. You know, people will remember the songs, but if you're not, you know, they kind of get forgotten and lost, them type of songs. But no, Stay Another Day is out every single year, reinvents the band every year, gets the younger generation knowing the band as well, and yeah, kept the dream alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been busy kind of since coming back, releasing more new music, new singles. A couple of years ago, you released 24/7. What's your plan now going forward? Are you hoping to keep on writing and release some more music soon?
Yeah, keep on writing. You know, we released about 10 years ago. You know, over the years, I've tried to get the band together to do certain things, and it's never quite worked out. It's always me, kind of the one in the middle, trying to make it work. Big reunion TV show. 1 or 2 people didn't want to do that, and old members in the band. So yeah, 10 years ago, it was me, John, and Tony, and then Tony wanted to go solo, and then I was like, well, I'm going to carry on with the band and try and get going. I met a guy called Robbie Craig who used to sing for the Artful Dodger, and had a hit with Craig David called Woman Trouble in the year 2000. And yeah, the last 10 years we've kind of, you know, we didn't have the greatest name when it ended for turning up for gigs and stuff, not due to me, but due to other members, and not cancelling gigs on the day and stuff. And the last 10 years, me and Robbie kind of built it up. John left about 5 years ago. We got another guy in called Joe, who used to be in the British gymnastics squad as a youngster, and he's a stuntman. He's been in many films. He's been in Harry Potter, Green Street, Jason Bourne. And he brings a little bit of excitement I'm too old to be doing backflips now. so he's a little bit younger. He's 39, so he does all the backflips and he does a lot of tricks on stage that not a lot of people can do. You know, from being in the British gymnastics team squad when he was younger. And he brings a different dimension to the band. Robbie's a fantastic singer, one of the best in the country, I think, all day long. And it works, and we've built it up for the last 10 years, and we're the most booked band in Europe now. We do about 100 shows a year, and things are going really good. We're keeping the E17 name alive, keeping the music alive, all the old singles, keeping them alive, and doing a good job at it. And we're going to carry on. We're going to write another album. We've got a couple of songs already in the mix. We've got a nice summer single. And we just thought, you know, being part of this charity single, we've never had a charity single out. And it's a good reason for me to give up smoking as well as trying to encourage other people to give up smoking. Because cancer is a terrible disease, and you're just hearing it more and more. It's just, you know, a lot of people are getting it at the moment. Even on the adverts, you're seeing 1 in 2 people. You know, that used to be 1 in 30 people. I'm sure a few years ago that was 1 in 30. Now it's 1 in 2. So, you know, if we can encourage people to give up smoking, plus, you know, earn some money for UK charities, cancer charities at the same time, then why not be a part of it? Yes, for a great cause. And, you know, if people can download the track off iTunes, we really want them to download it, because that's where the cancer charities are going to earn the most money from. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned being out on the road as well, playing lots of gigs. What's the plan going forward, and where can we see you?
Yeah, I think we've got about 22 shows this year. We've done quite a few Christmas turn-ons in certain. Sorry, someone's trying to call me. Oh, sorry about that. You can edit it anyway. Luckily, it's a pre-record. People can see us. We're doing loads of shows at the moment. We've got about 22 shows this year. And let me do that again. Sorry. People can find us this December. Someone's trying to call me again. We're doing plenty of shows this December. We're doing about 22 shows. We're doing a little Pop World tour, Pop World clubs, all up and down the country. And we've done a load of Christmas turn-on lights in certain towns, which have been amazing. The turnouts have been brilliant. And you can find it all online, or our Instagram pages or Facebook, where we're going to be next. Things are looking really good.
And that's the end of the Sound Lab podcast, our first ever Sound Lab podcast. It's our first ever one for Christmas as well. It's Christmas now. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Come back next week with more interviews, which will be a best of 2024. We're going to bring you some of the highlights from our year. We're going to bring you an old interview as well, and you can find out everything else on social media at The Sound Lab Yes, and on our website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk, and hopefully you'll join us next week for our second ever Sound Lab podcast. Goodbye.